three brothers who managed office information technology for members of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and other lawmakers were abruptly relieved of their duties on suspicion that they accessed congressional computers without permission. Brothers Abid, Imran, and Jamal Awan were barred from computer networks at the House of Representatives Thursday. The Daily Caller News Foundation investigative group has learned. Three members of the Intelligence Panel and 5 members of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs were among the dozens of members who employed the suspects on a shared basis. The two committees deal with many of the nation's most sensitive issues and documents, including those related to the war on terrorism. Also among those whose computer systems may have been compromised is Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Florida Democrat who was previously the target of a disastrous email hack when she served as chairman of the Democratic National Committee during the 2016 campaign. The brothers are suspected of serious violations, including accessing members' computer networks without their knowledge and stealing equipment from Congress. Jamal handled IT for Representative Joaquin Castro, the Texas Democrat who serves on both the Intelligence and Foreign Affairs panels. As of February 2, his employment with our office has been terminated, Castro spokeswoman Erin Hatch told the DCNF Friday. Jamal also worked for Louisiana Democrat Representative Cedric Richmond, who is on the Committee on Homeland Security. Imran worked for Reps. Andrew Carson, an Indiana Democrat, and Jackie Spear, a California Democrat. Both are members of the Intelligence Committee, and their spokesman did not respond to the DCNF's requests for comment. Imran also worked for the House office of Wasserman Schultz. Then Rep. Tammy Duckworth, an Illinois Democrat, employed a bid for ID work in 2016. She was a member of House committees dealing with the Armed Services, Oversight, and Benghazi. Duckworth was elected to the Senate in November 2016. Abid has a prior criminal record and a bankruptcy. Abid also worked for Representative Lois Frankel, a Florida Democrat who is member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. The three men are shared employees, meaning they are hired by multiple offices, which split their salaries and use them as needed for IT services. It is up to each member to fire them. The criminal investigation into 5 unnamed people began late last year related to serious and potentially illegal violations of House IT policies, Politico reported Thursday. Chiefs of staff for the members were briefed Thursday by the Sergeant-at-Arms. Capitol Police spokeswoman Eva Malecki said the investigation was still ongoing, and arrests have not been made, but staff were asked to update their security settings. Buzz Iron reported that the sergeant-at-arms told staff that the subjects were 4 men who were brothers and 1 woman. It did not name them. It quoted one of the affected members as saying they said it was some sort of procurement scam, but now I'm concerned that they may have stolen data from us, females. Who knows? Jamal did not return a request for comment from the DCNF at a personal email address, while emails to house addresses in the 3 men's names bounced back Friday. Abid, Imran and Jamal have all shared the house in Lorton, Virginia, that is owned by Hein R. Alvey. Alvey is a female house IT employee who works for many of the same members as the 3 brothers, as well as the House Democratic Caucus. Signs of trouble have long been visible in public records. The Congressional Credit Union repossessed Abid's car in 2009, and he declared bankruptcy in 2012, facing multiple lawsuits. Alvey, who did not respond to the DCNF's request for comment, has taken multiple second mortgages. Security-sensitive jobs typically require background checks for credit and legal problems that can create pressures to cash in on access to secret information and documents. Jamal, who public records suggest is only 22 years old and first began working in the house when he was 20, was paid nearly $160,000 a year, or 3 times the average house IT staff's salary, according to InsideGov, which tracks congressional salaries. Abid was paid $161,000 and Imran $165,000. Jack Langer, spokesman for the Intelligence Committee, said the committee office has its own IT staff and security measures, and classified information from the panel is not allowed to be sent to members' personal offices. Now that you understand the background, this exchange will make more sense to you. The item she wants returned is a laptop being held as evidence in the Allen brothers case.
I'd like to know how Capitol Police handle equipment that belongs to a member or a staffer that's been lost within the Capitol complex and found or recovered by one of your officers. What happens?
Sure. Well, it's processed on what's called a PD 81, which is a property record, and depending on the property, depending on how if you can legitimately determine ownership, then it's generally turned back over to the owner of the property. If it's part of an ongoing case, then there are other things that have to occur for that to happen.
So if a member says that they have equipment that's been lost and you find it, it would be returned to the member?
In the general sense, yes.
Okay.
You have to identify. You have to be able to positively identify the property and be able to establish ownership.
Right. And if ownership is established,
if it's part of an ongoing case, then there are additional things that need to be done.
but if the member owns the equipment and there is no ongoing case related to that member, then the equipment is supposed to be returned.
Right. In a general sense, yes.
No, I mean in a specific sense. If the member loses the equipment, says they lose the equipment,
Yes, ma'am.
and it is found by the Capitol Police, it is supposed to be returned.
If ownership has been established,
Right.
it'll be returned. If it's subject to an ongoing investigation, there are additional things
Okay.
that need to be turned
But
over.
not an ongoing investigation related to the member. If the equipment belongs to the member, it has been lost, they say it's been lost and it's been identified as that member's, then the Capitol Police is supposed to return it, correct?
Well, it's not I can't give a yes or no answer on that, because I know.
It's a
more
simple yes or no
parameters.
answer.
Well,
If you if a member loses the equipment,
Yes, ma'am.
and it is found by the Capitol Police or your staff, and it is identified as that member's equipment, and the member is not associated with any case, and that is their equipment, it is supposed to be returned, yes or no?
Depends on the circumstances, and if the circumstances are.
I don't understand how that's possible. Members' equipment is members' equipment. Under my understanding, the Capitol Police is not able to confiscate members' equipment when the member is not under investigation. It is their equipment, and it's supposed to be returned.
Well, I think there's extenuating circumstances in this case, and I think that, working through my counsel and, the necessary personnel, if that in fact is the case, and with the permission of, through the investigation, then we'll return the equipment. But until that's accomplished, I can't return the equipment.
I think you're violating the rules when you conduct your business that way, and should expect that there would be consequences. I yield back.
Gentlemen, thank you for your testimony today, Chief, Assistant Chief.
Demanding the investigators hand over evidence in an ongoing investigation under threat of consequences is obstruction of justice. Here you have actual evidence on video. Thank you for watching. That is all.